You know, I was just sitting here and I was thinking, what's the thing I'm most insecure about? What's the thing I'm deathly afraid to share to the world? What's the thing if people found it out or brought it up in front of a ton of people, I'd just be like mortified? What was the thing that always came with a lot of shame for me? And it's not my addiction to pornography. It was not my addiction to the sites, to jerking off. Since I was 13, 14, something like that, until now, 2 months away from being 33. It wasn't that. It was actually erectile dysfunction. From that. And that's really the reason why I never really pursued anything with women. Because I always knew that I wouldn't actually, that there was something wrong, that I wouldn't be able to perform, probably. Now it developed, I want to say that the first signs of it developed when I was, I had to have been like 18 or 19 probably. Most of my sexual encounters when I was in high school, it was fine. But then when I had this chick that I had most of my sexual encounters with when I was in my early 20s, 21, 22, and this, I dealt with it, with her. But I could get it up just enough to make it happen, But after her, and it was maybe 8 months or so until she really wanted nothing to do with me. And I, cried in front of her in a car and was like, oh, you can't leave me, all this stuff. And I would text her to hang out, like I'd want to hang out, I'd want to have sex, and she'd just be like gone for like a month, just not even, just like, yeah, I'm busy, oh yeah, no, I'm doing this actually, and just the worst case scenario. I wrote her a poem, bro. I wrote her a poem that I emailed to her with like some Coldplay video of Yellow live. Wrote this long ass poem. Dude, I was such a romantic. I've always kind of been that way. But I feel like not having a dick that worked kind of made me more of one, you know what I'm saying? It kind of made me more of a simp. I was the king of simps, bro. Not only was I was the trifecta, bro. I was looking at PRN, jerking off constantly, draining my seed, severing my connection with real women, which made my addiction to the sites even worse. And I probably just killed my shit. I literally killed my shit down there. And which made my social anxiety and my dealings with women even worse. So I was like, oh, like even if they like me, I can't actually perform. I can't do anything with them. We can't take this anywhere. But I was the trifecta. So not only that, not only the sites, not only the jerking off, but I was also dick didn't work. And then just a simp, just a simp. That was me, bro. That was me. For the longest. And for the longest, I didn't even bro, when I lived in LA for a time. And I had a good buddy there, and he was my roommate, and he had a girlfriend who was Russian, and she had a couple friends. And I remember one night we went out, and we were dancing and stuff, partying and all this stuff. And some things happened where it was definitely possible that I could have done something with one of these women. Not both of them. I don't think I would have been that lucky, but one of them, yes. But I didn't. There have been many instances like this where there were things that I could have done with women, but I didn't, because I knew the dark secret, bro. I knew the dark secret. Like, homie down there might not get it up for real women. I can do it when like the conditions are right, and I got I got the grip, and I know exactly what to do, and I know what videos to look at and what to replay, and you know what I mean. What position she's got to be in, all that stuff. So, bro, literally, like if I don't think as a man it really gets. I don't think it really gets much worse than that. This is really. There is nothing else that I would be terrified of more to share with the world. And I think I have to, just because I think this is my opinion. It is a liberation. It is freeing your soul. It is a cleansing. You have to be comfortable with your deepest insecurities. You have to get comfortable with disclosing them. I feel like if you really want to embody your truest self, your strongest self, you have to become like just impenetrable. You have to become invulnerable by being overwhelmingly vulnerable. Vulnerable to the extreme. I think that's the only way that you really become invulnerable. You have to go basically where your deepest fear lies. Disclose what you're most afraid to disclose. Unless you diddle kids, in which case just keep that shit to yourself. Nobody's trying to hear that, bro. If you've raped some women, keep that to yourself. Don't want to hear about that. But man, I just have so much fun with this. Because when you get to a certain point in life, when you haven't really made much money, where you're living in a basement at age 32, where you've had so many cringe experiences with women, where you've literally, your connection with women has been severed so drastically in your life that you can't even interact with them, don't even pursue them, all this stuff. You get to a certain point where you don't make much money, and it's like you don't really care anymore. You don't really care anymore, bro. Like, you don't really care about like trying to like uphold some version of this self that you have, this idea of yourself that you had, that you're trying to show the world. You don't really care about disclosing like the most personal, private, vulnerable parts of yourself, because why does it matter? You know what I mean? Like, it really don't. Like, to me, it just don't. Like, what's the worst that happens? Women never want to be with me? Well, I've basically already don't. I'm already living that, bro. So joke's on you. You know, joke's on you. And that's not as important. If that's what I have to sacrifice to get like a freedom of my soul, then I'll do it. 100% I'll do it. If I have to never get women again, or not have a family, or have people just be like, all these stupid fears. Oh, this guy's a cuck. This guy's a simp. This guy sucks. He's weak. Whatever. If I have to do that, if I have to have that happen to me, just to kind of feel like finally like it's really all out there now. So like, say what you want about me. I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like, this is the best moment of my life. I'm being born right now. It's my birthday. It's my birthday. I don't know, it just feels good. It feels good. It feels like, what now, ho? What now? I really only listen to myself at the end of the day. I think you have to do that to be really free in this world. You can take bits and pieces from other people, but eventually you have to get to the point where you start listening to yourself more than anybody else. That's the only way it really starts, where the fun begins, I think. But yeah, man, it's been rough. And if you're curious about whether the equipment works now, well, I rarely touch myself, since I'm on that semen retention, as I like to call it. But it does work far and away better than it used to. Far and away better than it used to even a year and a half ago. But back when it was really bad, back when I was in the darkness of the Limp, that's what I like to call it, the darkness of the Limp. I was probably 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. 30, I think, is where it started to shift, where it started to change. Ironically, that's where my where I had my unfortunate encounter with a bigger girl. And maybe she put a spell on me, who knows? Them big girls, maybe learning some stuff. So maybe she changed the game for me. Maybe God saw what was going on. Maybe God looked down at that moment in time. He saw how far I had fallen, that his son had fallen. And he's just thrusting for all he's worth in a bigger girl. He says, you know what? I think this is worse than his erectile dysfunction. I think I need to give him his dick back. You know what I mean? Preach, dog. Preach. All Ironically, it's weird because I feel like this might be more vulnerable for the viewer than for me, but whatever. I'm brutally honest, bro. It's literally the thing that I've always tried to run from, because I'm so honest and like I always tried to just hide it. I didn't want to say anything. I didn't want to disclose anything. I don't want to talk. I don't want to be around people, because when I'm around people, I'm just so, I can get this way. I used to be really ashamed of this, being so honest and open and stuff. Dude's a female. You're a female. You're weak, bro. Yeah, I guess, bro. I guess. What else? Yeah, it was a long time. It was about a decade. Was it a decade? It was like 12 years. 12 years a slave? No, 12 years as a limp. 12 years a limp, bro. Excuse me. It really sucks, because I mean, my entire 20s, I could have been rising up the ranks, just slaying puss left and right, making money. Instead, I was watching like Tiana Trump and Riley Reid about 5 times a day, and barely making enough money to get by, because all my energy was in a tissue that I'd flushed down the toilet. So that's why I had to do Lyft and Postmates as a 25-year-old, and that shit was exhausting. Man, it was dark, man. I've been in some dark places. Lived in some dark times. But finally started to see the light, Now my D works, and only had to give up the one thing that I love the most. To potentially, get a female. I guess that's the next step. But the man's supposed to get a woman, I guess. And you're supposed to have a family. Maybe. I'm gonna need some funds, though. What are you talking about, bro? After you just said this on this video, no woman could love you. If that's the case, then this is a cruel world, bro. This is a world that I just don't belong to. It's a world that I don't claim. It's a world that I'll be glad to be out of when I'm gone. How about that? Yeah. So, I guess I'll just keep retaining my seed and making these videos and playing some Elden Ring and keep lugging crap upstairs for my job, driving this van around in this 100-degree heat we got going on. This is the time of our lives, bro. Your suffering is the time of your life. Enjoy it. Sing praises, hallelujah. You're alive. You're being molded. You're being kicked. The shit's being kicked out of you. Praise Jesus. Praise Yahweh. God hasn't given up on you, bro. He's still slapping you around. Praise God. That's it.